Hello, welcome to Lackluster Reactions. I'm your Lackluster Reactor, here today for another episode of Vinland Saga, Season 2. Last week, we watched a man die, and this week we're going to see the consequences of trying to have him live. I have a feeling about this episode, especially since we know that Kettle's going to be back to find the aftermath of that. But without further ado, let's get started. He's willing to be in the front lines for his own ambitions, even if it does lead to bloodshed. True. Always good to see history. Well, you're kind of not giving him much of a choice, so. No. You would waste less if you didn't treat them like assets, but I'm not a king, who am I to judge? Ah, glad to see we're all coming on this little trip. The wind's at your back, but you still don't know how much danger still is in front of you between where you currently are and your destination. That is aptly summing up what's currently happening, but anyway. So again, I'm afraid that we're going to be looking at Kettle this episode and him making decisions on the aftermath of the last few episodes. Snakes is going to be pissed, but it's Kettle who actually has to make decisions that I'm worried about. Which we've seen the last time that something came to his decision to make. The children, he was lenient on them and gave them as little punishment as he could. However, this time it's Ironheart. Ironheart. However you pronounce her name. I'm not good at pronunciations. I've heard it plenty of times, but I'm not going to pronounce it right at any time. Which, on one hand, there's a lot of people dead. On the other hand, he cares for Ironheart, which is not something which I can confidently say would make his punishment less lenient or, well, more lenient or more harsh. But after all this time, we've known Kettle as the good slave owner, so can't possibly have any issues coming out of this, right? I'm still pretty loud. Yeah. Was coming and it seems only one person seems to be excited about that. How about that? Good luck at that. Again, it only looks like one person excited for that. Yeah. Already don't like how Kettle's going to be learning all about this in the state he's currently in. I can feel just where this episode's going. I don't like it at all. But we're dealing with slavery, so it had to come up eventually. Yeah. They're made to fight off bandits. They're not ready for a full-scale army. On heed. On heed, on heed, on heed. One day I'll remember it, but probably, hopefully she lives that long. Again, is that in her favor? Is it against her? There's another thing to keep in mind. First, we don't even know if he knows she's pregnant. Which is... Yeah. That you did. No. That's the funny thing about peace, though, Finn, is that it's not for you to decide. Many people have to decide on peace to stop death and murder, death and fighting from happening. It can't just be your decision. As this is the philosophical debate that I like to hear. If violence is the last resort, what should the first be? And how effective does it have to be to make sure that the last resort doesn't come up as often as it might? He doesn't know yet. I don't even think this is the man. Before you left, didn't you assign her to the old master's house? Should you be tracking your father's house to have your own? You know, of all the things that are also going to be probably dealing with this episode, the fact that the only reaction she had to her husband looking for his mistress is sigh of annoyance. I guess we're dealing with all the reasons why the good old days weren't good old days today, aren't we? Husband, out on flame. Yes, you have to address the matter. So, I'm afraid to hear the answer to this question. But what kind of man are you at the end of the day, Kettle? In good days, you are able to promise that slaves that if they work hard, if they give back what you loan at reasonable prices, that you can set them free. In this situation, tell me, who are you and what is your decision? Unfortunately, I don't think he's in the best mood to make decisions, but yeah, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? So you say. But yeah, the one that's going to be an issue. So, you made your choice. Now, it's someone else's turn to make choices. Ideally. Oh, I'm sure. Also, I didn't like the clinky metal. You stay back. I'm already going to be mad at enough people this episode. Yeah. Yeah, he did unbuckle his belt. So, I ask again. You carrying the big stick? What kind of man are you actually? Yeah. Ah. So that's it. It's not because she's the only person who you can be who can be confident to you. It all comes down to pride, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, behold the good slave owner. Because no matter how good they treat some slaves, no matter what kind of face they try to present, it always comes down to stuff like this, doesn't it? Garbage. Before I said he wasn't sure if he had the money. Good to see that there's at least one good man in this conversation. But the problem is, as he said earlier, pride. Garbage. Well, that's one of the lives in jeopardy. But I believe there's some complications to the situation that I would like to hear addressed. Not going to talk about this week, are we? So then you commit to war? Well, if you have that many options, but in a speech it seems like pride's also the reason he's going to fight back instead of to protect people or any such thing. But considering the kind of man he is, makes sense. Because that's how it always is, isn't it? No matter how good you say you are, as soon as you devote yourself to owning another person's life, these are the kind of results you get. And yet there's some people who nowadays say slavery wasn't so bad, that there was some good to it. Those people are just as bad as Kettle. Garbage all around. And the same reason he beat that poor woman and potentially caused a miscarriage, we didn't get that, but and the same reason he did that is also the same reason he's going to war. Which, one plus to that is at least someone's going to get what he deserves. Because if it's pride that he's fighting for, then I don't think he's going to come home again. Absolute garbage. The Battle of Kettle's Farm. Good. Hopefully next week we can learn about the current state of the baby and actually get into some of the fighting of this upcoming arc. But that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all, everyone who stopped and watched the episode with me. I hope you all had a good week. Have a good week in the future. And I hope you stop by and watch next week's episode with me, because I'm definitely looking forward to it. Until then, take care.